Good. How are you? Very airplane, two of you. Get them to blink in sequence. Specifically Paramount. I mean, it seems very Star Trekky kind of thing to have that thing in there. I don't remember if we ever locked it down specifically. That's right. Yeah. Hmm. Yes. Hmm. That's right. Just remember that all the work that you're putting in right now, okay, all the work you're putting in right now, when you get to episode 100 or whatever it might be far away in the future, you're going to, no matter how well polished these episodes might turn out to be, you're always going to look back on them and go like, they're not very good. It's just the way it's just the way it's going to be. So do not beat yourself up over it at all. I mean, I do not want to go back and look at my old movie reviews. I don't, you know. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Hmm. Yes. I did the same. I threw a couple of things up on Twitter and Facebook to let that's where I know colleagues that do this regularly. In fact, I was on one of their shows, and I see them always posting, "We're going live in 5 minutes and whatnot." I'm like, "Going live where? What are you doing here?" You know.
Here. How about now? Oh my god. So here's already me screwing up. So the deal is, we'll fix it. We'll do it live. So yeah, it turns out, I had it on mute. See, it's not working perfectly. I still don't have it worked out. Oh boy. Um,
Like
so
I said,
let's start from scratch. This is
okay.
episode 2 of the Ain't It the Fun podcast, or live stream slash podcast. The first one we did a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, first of the month, first of the year. It was more of a test to get this stuff working, but clearly I don't have it worked out because I had it on mute like a dummy. So
It's
I tapped the mic, which normally unmutes it, but I forgot to hit the button over on this
Yeah. You
other thing
signaled
I got to
me.
hit it on.
Yeah, you signaled me just great. Good job. But
I'm glad you can hear me. No one else
yeah,
can.
I can. I heard you fine, and it was a fantastic show. Let me tell you.
All right, we're done. End the stream.
Yes.
There we go. Woo! Did it. Okay,
Positive.
there we go. It's working now. So, but yeah, the first one was more of a test to make sure I had things working. Now I have actually everything sort of working, except I have to remember to unmute it over here as well.
Right.
But now that it's up, it's working good. So that's the deal. But yeah, so the first one, we'll go back to this real quick. The first one, so that everyone can hear me. The first one was more of a mini year in review because it was the first of the year, the first one we'd ever done, and I really didn't think it would actually work. But it worked, and I was able to use it. And so now this one will be the episode 2. Like I said, I called it the sequel because I didn't have another title, and you mentioned.
Yeah. And we did Airplane 2 quotes.
Airplane 2, right.
Yes.
The blinking and the beeping. Clearly it wasn't beeping or blinking loud enough for me to notice.
No.
But anyway, I fixed it. So yeah, this will be a more normal. My whole idea was, like I said, to make something more positive during these times. The last 18 months has been a nightmare, so I figured we would just try to figure out 3 things that made us, happy, brought us joy, intrigued us, brought, whatever caught our attention the last 2 weeks. Something fun to talk about, and then maybe at the end talk about maybe one thing we're looking forward to in the next 2 weeks, year, whatever floats your boat, whatever pops into your head.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that people can hear me again, we'll figure this out. All right. So yeah, you went first last time. You want to go first again?
Sure. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record for people who did hear last week's show, but our last the very first one that you did or that we did together. But news came in today. Last week or last time, I talked about how happy I was that we were able to mount the Chicago Critics Film Festival last year. And we just got word today that the Chicago Reader, which does an annual poll, mostly an annual poll, I think they might have missed a year or two here and there, but they do an annual poll of the best of Chicago. And it's literally like every possible category you could possibly think of. I mean, it's like best poetry slam. I'm not even joking about that. And it's just everything, arts, culture, food, architect, just every possible thing you can possibly imagine. And people send in their nominees and their votes and that kind of stuff. And then they do a nominee list for final vote. And I'm happy to say that the Chicago Critics Film Festival was nominated again for Best Film Festival in Chicago. So we're competing again with 4 other nominees. And we haven't won yet. The Chicago International Film Festival has beaten us twice now, I think. I think we've been nominated twice now.
It's been the past 2 years, right?
We
did say it was 2 in a row, right?
Obviously, we skipped a year because of all the garbage that went down. But the last time, I think the 2019, we were nominated and we didn't win. But it was like 2017 or 2018, we were nominated for the first time. I mean, it's just, the cliche obviously is it's an honor to be nominated, but it really is,
Well, sure, something that huge.
Yeah, like I said, this is not just some, namby-pamby poll that you find on a website and people click a couple things and then you're off. This is the best of Chicago. Best stand-up comedian. It's like everything you could possibly think of. It's an amazing thing that they do every year. And you see a lot of the same winners and stuff like that, and many of them very deserving. But
when you say you see a lot of the same, you mean like repeat?
Well, yeah, you've been like, the best movie theater, the Music Box, and the best film festival, the Chicago International has won several years. Best pizza place, best restaurant, best, flower shop, whatever they might have. So you see, and not to downplay or anything, but popularity contest. If you have 2 million people going to one festival and few thousands going to another festival, you might have more people vote for another one. But again, to be in the company of not just Chicago International, but also Black Harvest Film Festival that our friend Sergio Mims runs, it was also nominated. The Chicago Underground Film Festival was nominated again, and the Reeling Film Festival was nominated. So just to be in that class, yeah, I'll take it.
Sure.
We're very happy about that.
That's awesome.
And now people can vote.
Well, yeah. Well, here I got the links working. So yeah, you'll I'll redo the website. I'll put that link in there too, but I'll put a little section underneath it to vote.
Yeah.
It should go out tomorrow, and you should be able to get the link in the YouTube video. Not now, but when I post it tomorrow, and then it should be technically in the link for the podcast. So it'll be perpetual.
Excellent.
Eventually it'll be useless because it'll age out, but it'll work for a little bit. I think you might be able to click the button right in the podcast if you're listening.
Right.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And obviously the honor of it is cool. Do you get anything fun? Do you get like a silver football on a column or anything?
No plaque, no searching for Bobby Fischer piece of paper that he's got 1,800 in his briefcase for.
No,
we've never got I mean, yeah, it's the honor of it, and it's something that we can put on our
bragging
press releases, bragging rights, so to speak. And again, people might not always remember who wins Best Picture, but you put Academy Award nominee. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you were nominated for. It's just it's a label that sticks forever.
You got to continue to be gracious, right? You can't be like, it's just or you have to be like, it's just a pleasure to be nominated, like you said. You can't.
Right. No, I mean, look, we want to win.
Of course. You know that's totally disingenuous when people are nominated. They're like, oh, it'll be totally fine.
Yeah,
totally fine if I don't win. Yeah, I'm
really
sure it'll be okay. You're not gonna like go home and it's not gonna be. You're not gonna be in the fetal position or anything, but you want to win.
I think that that there are actors that are at least honest with themselves and realize like if you go up against De Niro and Raging Bull or something like that, and he's like you just have to I'm very happy I'm in the same category, but I'm not gonna win.
Sure.
But in this case, I think we might be the best film festival in Chicago, so I want to promote that. So I hope people agree, and that our fans who are very loyal will flood the valley, so to speak.
That'll be cool. So look for the link either below here, or excuse me, on the iTunes. I think if you go into the description, it should have the link in there. Hopefully it does work. If not, I'll have to figure that out too. I think I got all the socials in that one. I haven't looked at that or tried to click on them as a link to see if they work through the podcast. But go ahead and vote. You can do it online. You can do it. Why anybody would do it in person using a ripped out piece of paper? But
that'd be amazing.
That would be great.
Early voting. Yeah, I know. I think Chicago International is filing subpoenas against us already for early voting. But no, we're staying positive. I keep forgetting that.
Positive.
Positive. That's right. But no, you can go online and you just put in your email, and you don't. It's not like you have to vote for all 372 categories that are there. I mean, if you go through it and you see something beyond us, obviously, if you have a favorite pizza place or one of the 5 nominees and whatnot, vote for it by all means. So
go there for you.
Support this. Yes.
Support it. Of course. Yeah. Support him.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that wasn't too loud.
No.
Yeah. So doing all this stuff, I'll do mine. Doing all this stuff, watching, beginning to watch Twitch and stuff. I'm obviously a big gamer, meaning video games, but both board games, video games. Being a gamer, this whole idea of streaming, there's a dedicated platform to do all kinds of stuff. It's just called Twitch. If you've never heard of it, you've never heard of it. But basically, Twitch is, for the most part, a gaming streaming platform. But it's mainly just a streaming platform. It archives videos, but people don't put stuff up there pre-produced, really. You just you hit a button, you go live. You could do it on a million things, though. Excuse me, your phone, tablet, digital SLR cameras, and Wi-Fi connections, and you could do it on all your major consoles, your Xbox, PlayStation. I don't think you can do it on the Switch yet. On your PC, obviously, that's what I'm doing. Basically, anything with a camera and some sort of internet connection, you can go live anywhere in the world. well, I mean, again, unless it's banned. But the idea is you can go live and stream what you're doing. Real life streams, like people go to fancy restaurants and show you that experience. People do workout videos, and you can work out along with them, or they'll teach you stuff. You can just chat, like kind of like we're doing now. You can play games, which I plan on starting to do. So the background here would be a full screen of a game I'm playing, and in the bottom right corner, be me. My little stupid head there will be in the corner. But one of the people I started watching the last few months that's really intrigued me, and I sent you a link the day I found her because the tech just blew my mind, is the channel's called Codemiko. Codemiko, Codemiko. And it's on the Twitch platform. So you can download the app on your phone, gaming console, PC, tablet, whatever, and search Codemiko. And it's this woman who's explained in those first 3 videos I sent you the link for. You remember her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she's a woman who apparently lost her job in the tech industry. And she worked for, I think it was a production company. I'd have to go back and watch the video. But the gist of it is, she had enough engineering knowledge and enough, hey, I lost my job, I got to do something. But she did stuff what I believe is in the production, like video production or tech production stuff. And so she went and bought herself a mocap suit, basically. It's not the ones you think of on TV, like, you've seen them where they're like a black suit with a bunch of ping pong balls, or the little white, the little white dots to show like corners and shoulders and stuff.
The Andy Serkis costume.
Yeah, exactly. Like a movie one. You see them on sets with the fake guns, and they got all the little ping pong balls on it. It's not that. No. It's much more tech savvy. I think there are wires built into. It almost looks like a neoprene swimsuit kind of thing. And she then had the fortuitous to go get an eye tracking device. So it's like this little helmet, and it watches your eyeballs, so it tracks your eye movement. Then she went and got there's these gloves you can get, and they're gloves, I think they go all the way up to the tips, and it shows the articulation of your fingers. But instead of like in a movie where you see them doing like the black suit with the ping pong balls, and then they capture the wireframes, you see like the little stick guy on the, like on a behind the scenes of Avatar or whatever, the little stick figure. This is real time. She's in this suit. The computer's tracking her body and her head and neck movement. This device that's on her head, basically it's an iPhone, but there's software built into it that tracks her eye movement. And then the gloves are sending stuff to the computer. And so instead of like my little head or our little heads in the corner while she's playing a game or whatever, talking, chatting, doing an interview show, whatever, it's this 3D representation, an avatar of herself. They call it VTubing, virtual YouTubing, even though it's on Twitch. It's a style of not presenting your real self, but presenting this artificial version of yourself. You can act crazy, you can not be yourself, or maybe you're shy, you don't want to show your face. But it's this whole idea of giving someone entertainment, making yourself sort of a puppeteer of this fake virtual person. And she's funny. She's ridiculous anyway. So it made sense. But she said like she basically she did like the Kevin Smith. She lost her job, so she just credit carded everything. Mm-hmm. I think it was like 16 grand worth of stuff for the suit, the head thing, the gloves and all that. Yeah. And then she, with her engineering knowledge, hooked it all up to her computer, started basically what I'm doing now, but on Twitch, and made herself this avatar of this girl. And she does everything from game streaming to interviewing other YouTube and Twitch people to real world people in different industries. She has little fake seminars about like sex, and she cracks jokes and stuff while she's doing it. But the tech and the real-time fidelity is the right word I'm looking for of this tech is amazing. You can see her eyes, the irises and stuff. The phone is tracking where she's looking, just like you and I, people are looking at us now. her mouth opens. You can, like she can articulate the jaw, the head movement, the hands, arm, everything. She can get up from, like I can't because I'm plugged in right now, but like she can get up away from the computer, move around her room, and she created then a 3D fake apartment that she's in. And so she can get up from her desk, so you don't see her real desk. It's a virtual chair that she created in 3D. She's a 3D avatar, and then she made a whole room that's a 3D avatar of a room, and she can walk around the room. You can like gift her, 15 the fake coins or whatever, and it'll like, make her headset on fire virtually, or make her voice, like when you suck the helium out of a balloon, her voice goes real high or whatever. Like, she programs all this stuff into it, and I was just blown away by the knowledge and the ability. Like, you can do this at home now for, again, I don't have 17 grand laying around or the ability to use it on my credit cards, but like, for relatively a tiny bit of money, just doing this amazes me. And I like tech my whole life, but even my being able to do this like this now is crazy, unheard of for 10 years ago. But for her to be able to do real-time 3D, it's rendering, you don't see her, and have the room, the interactivity of it, the fidelity of it, like the eye moving. Every once in a while it'll sort of break, and so her fingers will be stuck up, so she can't like move the fingers, but she fixes it pretty quick. I'm intrigued. I showed Mrs. Fun, like I said, like, you gotta see this. This is the nuttiest thing you've ever seen. And other people do with sort of cartoon characters just sort of in the corner, and it's just a flat 2D thing, which is still neat. And it sort of tracks the mouth, and it kind of does that. But her tech is beyond. You've seen the clips I've showed you, right?
Yeah, the ones yeah.
Again, you may not like all of her humor, and it may be, childish, if you give enough bits, like she, the avatar like farts and stuff. Farts are funny to me though, so I laugh. But everybody should laugh their farts. But the tech
People
of
pay
it,
for those farts though.
I think technically you do pay for the bits. It's like a tip jar, you pay the $2 or whatever, and most of them are stupid, like setting her hair on fire and stuff.
Good on her. I worry about the people who are doing that.
Paying to have a virtual 3D person fire on camera.
Set your hair on fire.
Yeah, but again, even if you don't appreciate the humor, do yourself a favor, and I'll try to post a link to one of the videos in here to show the tech part of it, so you don't have to say you don't like the humor. I think one of the links I sent you is her kind of explaining the process, and it's like one side of it is her, in the suit with the stuff on her head and the gloves, and then next to it is the real-time avatar. And so as she's moving, the avatar's sort of moving on the right side of the screen, and she's showing you how she does it. And it just blows me away. Even just to have the idea of having those gloves, and something as simple as, I'd love to be able to get the gloves. And if I were to, do a thing on my hand and hit a button and have a 3D object of like the Infinity Gauntlet pop up on my hand and do it now, just to have the sound effects and stuff go off if I were to do it or do a snap, that would be enough for me. But again, watching this tech in action, real time, is crazy. It shows what TV and other things can do now at a relatively small amount of cost. This is one person with about 16 grand is doing this stuff live from her house and making now, at this point, getting endorsements, making tons of money, getting referrals and doing other things with that tech.
Yeah.
It's astounding.
Yeah. Wonder why all these businesses are losing people who don't want to come into the office anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's crazy. And like I said, it's good on, anyone who's able to do all that kind of stuff, make a living out of it. And like I said, I mean, if you can, what like you said, people who are sitting at home, hitting, Mario coins for her, to do weird stuff. I mean, hey, if that's the way you want to spend your money, go for it.
It's not sexual, I assure you.
Yeah, I assure you. But,
technically she's clothed.
right. Well, she's got a whole mocap thing. I don't know if that's sexy.
Theoretically, it could be just like anything. It could be used for evil.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah.
But yes, in this case, she's not doing that.
Okay.
But yes, you're right. You could very quickly turn this deck around and make
a lot more money.
OnlyFans it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. When does this go OnlyFans?
I'm sure people have seen her do this, and I'm sure someone's trying to figure out how that becomes a reality.
Yeah. What about this podcast though?
This OnlyFans?
Yeah. No, not yet.
No. I'm way too pale and old. And no one's looking.
Someone will pay for it.
It's a fetish. No one's looking for this.
Everything's a fetish.
I guess that's true.
Yes.
I guess that's true.
Yes. Doesn't have to be yours or mine.
That's also true.
Right. We're getting into a weird area here.
Yeah. Positive.
Positive. This is all positive.
Yeah.
All positive. Fetishes are positive.
That's right. Don't keep shame.
That's right. Just don't hurt anybody.
That's right.
Safe
don't hurt anybody else.
Exactly. So speaking of which, we've kind of alluded to the pandemic and the stupid crap that's gone on for the last 20 months a couple times, and not that I want to focus on that particularly, but last week I keep saying last week. I can't remember when we did.
Close enough.
The last show.
Sure.
One of the things that you mentioned that you were grateful for were delivery services.
Safe and ethical.
Safe and ethical delivery service.
Yes. Do it responsibly. Make sure the people are safe. Treat the workers well. We want that to be a positive thing, right?
Right.
Yes.
But the thing I wanted to focus on, and maybe I can start trailblazes. Maybe this is something you could have guests do as a, maybe not as part of this, but just as something they do just to keep, like you said, to keep things positive. Is mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
And the idea that, God knows how many of them have had to close down for one reason or another over these last 2 years, and even beyond the last 2 years, because of all the Amazons and the Walmarts and all that. And hey, we're all guilty of it too. You, like you said last time, using some of these services, sometimes they're quick, they're efficient, sometimes they're cheaper. We're not all, we're not doing, making money by setting our hair on fire on the internet yet.
Right.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
But so, you have to, cut corners where you can and be efficient when you possibly can. But anytime you get an opportunity to, like you said, you try to tip generously when you have delivery services and that kind of thing. And anything you can do to support anybody.
Workers, unions.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I was thinking, during last summer, I had moved out of, where I was for the town that I was in for so long. And, I was thinking, how weird it might be moving away, and not that I've moved so far, you know where I'm at. But, so it's not exactly a leap to go back into that town and partake in certain things. But I thought there were two places where I lived that I thought, like, of all the things that will be weird when I make the transition to the next move, it's being close to these two places that I was gonna like. It's gonna suck. Well, there's three places really, but I'm focusing more on two. One of them we just found out is actually going to be closing in April.
What?
Well, Elk Grove Bowl.
Oh yes. Sorry.
You were actually there when I got that letter.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to, keep bring things down at all, but that is a bowling alley that we have been associated with at different times for 40 some years.
Yeah.
And that place has been open for 60 years. So, and that's one of the two places I'm just like, I did not live far from that location, and now in a few months it's going to be gone forever. But
it was explained to me, and I was talking to your mom about this, that before the rest of Elk Grove as a town was really kind of built. The only thing that was really kind of up was the bowling alley and that little strip mall. That's kind of how you were introduced to the town as they were building the town, or the majority of the town.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long that thing's been around.
Yeah, it's crazy in that respect. But then I think about, and I'm glad that this is the idea for, a big part of your show is this idea of keeping things positive and thinking, and in that respect, thinking of things that I'm thankful for, because
or to help. Like if we
right.
could somehow help Elk Grove Bowl, we would.
Because normally, 6-7 days a week, I'm thinking of negatives because I think of the negatives and then I can create the positives. But so I'm not thinking a lot about the positives, and I'm not saying I take them for granted, but I'm focused on things that I can fix or repair, all those types of things. But one of the things I'm thankful for, and this is, it'd be nice to see future guests come on and recommend some sort of mom and pop shop in their area.
Not a bad idea. Thank you.
And it's not going to be, not everyone around the world will have the opportunity to partake. But hey, if they come into Chicago, they hear it on the show, maybe if they're in that area, they're able to partake in this. And I am just so thankful that, all the places that might have been closing over time, and Lord knows there were many in that area that had to close as a result of the last 2 years, but Munchie's Pizza remains.
Oh,
yeah, scared you for a moment, didn't I?
That's
keeping things
right.
positive. We're
that's
keeping things
right.
positive here.
You can't
no,
do that.
I didn't mean to do that. I
haven't had it in a while, but nothing like a good slice of Munchie's Pizza.
And because but that's what I'm saying is that this is the place that I'm just so grateful for. And since I've moved, I've not missed a week where I've
really?
not had,
awesome.
I have not missed a week. Going back over to Munchie's Pizza and getting a large pie and some fries and whatnot, and it's become a Friday staple for me for a long time. Obviously, back in the day too, but I mean that place has been there since 1983. 1983. I mean, I saw Cubs playoffs 84 game 4 there when they lost. I mean, memories there are just ridiculous, and to me, it's the best pizza in the world. With no offense to a lot of other great pizza places, but it just happens to be my favorite. And that place has remained, and they were able to stick it out through the last 2 years. They were closed a couple more days of the week than they normally would be, but they're back at pretty much more or less full strength, and again, it just continued to thrive. And as long as that remains intact, I think there's hope for the future. That's just all I'm saying. So,
well, so I mean, obviously that's a local thing to you.
Yeah.
So, how can we do this? How can we, take this to everybody? Not that a million people are watching this, but if whatever your pizza place is in town, remember that it's unless it's Pizza Hut or whatever, like a big chain, which is fine. There are workers there that need help too, but the mom and pop shop is literally owned by a worker, basically.
Right.
And so by going there and helping them out as much as you can and tipping the people the proper amount and giving them maybe extra on occasion or seeing them a little more often, one more meal a week, really helps those places. Places that weren't used to delivery all of a sudden had to figure out how to do pickup or delivery or whatever. So your local place can benefit just like you're treating Munchies.
Yeah.
Wherever.
No, and that's exactly where I was going with this, is that, not just the people that come on your show, but people who are listening to the show, just think about that. I mean, just like once a week, think, if, maybe try a new place, or if you really do have a favorite place in your area, a mom and pop store, not a chain, but a mom and pop store that you love, food, goods, whatever it might be, go and support them and try to help them, with your couple bucks that you can throw them. You're not going to save the world by doing it, but you might be helping them. So that's all I wanted to say with Munchies, and have to give them a little bit of a plug as well. But
if you're ever in Elk Grove,
if you're ever in Elk Grove,
Where'd you go?
you have to go to Munchie's Pizza.
I would say also go to Lou Malnati's, but they're a little bit bigger, so
They're a little
we'll
bit
default
bigger.
back to Munchies.
We love Lou Malnati's.
Of course.
Again, nothing against Lou Malnati's.
No.
They have many locations.
Yes.
And
I'm sure they're doing
great.
fine.
They are great. Munchie's Pizza, though, they have deep dish, but their thin pizza is second to none. And yeah.
Speaking of that,
all their food is good. I mean, their pasta, their meatballs, some of the best meatballs I've ever had in my life.
Really?
Oh, they're fantastic.
Speaking of pizza, all this hate about deep dish, I can't remember what I was just watching recently. People, of course, are crapping all over Chicago deep dish. Like, oh, it's the quiche. Whatever.
It's better than cardboard with cheese in New York.
Well, but here's the funny part about that is the pub pizza, which no one ever talks about, is also a Chicago invention and a staple. Super, super thin crust, square cut, pub, pick up a tiny piece, eat a pizza, is also a Chicago staple. So other than the big giant slice in New York, everybody else is just doing plain old doughed pizza that everywhere else gets.
Yeah.
We have two pizzas that were invented here, or styles of pizza.
Yeah.
New York can talk about the big slice. I've had I'm sure they're great. I know I've had a couple.
It fills your stomach.
Sure. Have you seen someone will they think they call it like the double decker or something? They put a beef sandwich in the slice and then fold it on the slice and then eat the slice with the beef sandwich in it.
That's too much.
I don't even know how you would finish that.
No.
But yeah, I don't understand the hate. Like you go to Munchies, again, their regular quote thin crust, which is not pub thin, but the regular doughed thin crust normal pizza is great. And they do slices, which is great. It's like a New York place. I want a slice. They're a normal Chicago pie slice. They're not a 2 foot long slice you got to fold.
Right, but it's more of a very thick, a thicker.
Yeah, I think they call it. Some places call it double dough. So
double dough.
Yeah,
it's,
not
it's
thin.
a little more than
crust.
double dough at Munchies. And they
but it's not deep dish.
Right.
Yeah, I still don't understand what all the hate is about Chicago deep dish. It's so awesome.
I don't like it when Chicagoans fight with each other over. I like deep dish. I like thin. It's just be Chicago. Like it all.
Yeah.
If you don't like one of them, keep it to yourself. We don't need to hate. Yes.
Again,
just
positive.
Enjoy what you enjoy. Okay.
Except for pineapple. No, I don't want it.
No pineapple. No.
Don't be positive.
I almost shared our California Pizza Kitchen story.
Do we get up and leave?
We got up and left.
Yeah.
our first California Pizza Kitchen brought into the area, and we went to California Pizza Kitchen after seeing Happy Gilmore to show you how long ago it was, and I remember that. And we sat down and we looked at the menu and we're like, what the hell is this? What the hell are we going to order? And I think we had half a soda, and then we took off.
You'd think they'd have just one, quote, normal pizza at California Pizza Kitchen, like sauce, maybe some pepperoni or sausage, some cheese. Nope. Yeah. Everything had a pound of onions and goat cheese, everything. I was like, I could eat this, but why?
No.
And $20 for a pizza that was like this. Positive. We gotta stay positive. $20 for a piece of, a pizza this big. It was $20, and it's got a pound of onions on top of it. I'm like, I don't need this.
No.
For $10, I can go get something better.
That's right.
But
right. Positive.
All right, go for it.
So that was your turn. Your turn.
All right. So, the other thing that, since we're talking about food, it's a good transition. Unfortunately, this is corporate. But I only mention this because I was going grocery shopping today and it reminded me of it. And I don't know what it is. It's not trauma. I don't want to use that word, positive. But like the 99-cent turkey pot pie in a package in the frozen aisle of a grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the banquet ones or whatever.
Yes.
Listen, I don't want to be positive, but it's trash food. It's not good food. But on a hot day or a cold day, 2 of those things in the oven, throw them in a bowl, a little bit of ketchup, a little bit of barbecue sauce. I don't know what it is, but I have to have them sometimes. I have a craving, an unnatural craving, like a vampire or a werewolf. I need to go and get a bunch of 99-cent banquet turkey pot pies. I don't know. I wish I could explain it. I wish there was something medical or something with me that it could be explained or fixed.
Everything is a medical condition these days, so I'm sure that there's something you could make some sort of medical study book.
Maybe they have to. I gotta go somewhere.
Your constant craving of banquet turkey pot pies.
I wouldn't say constant.
Not constant. Not like
they have chicken pot pies. I think one's a little bit better than the other, but whatever I grab, I eat. But it's processed. It's bad. It's garbage food. It's trash food. But I have an unnatural, like it's like a White Castle. I used to love White Castles. I could eat them a ton.
Sure.
But now it's like once every 6 months. I got to go get like a whole bag of White Castle. Same thing with pot pies. You're going grocery shopping. If I pass that aisle and it hits me, I'm like, I'm going to go get for $2. I'll be so happy.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's not trash food, because it makes you happy. Your body might not appreciate it.
That's why it's trash.
You're only here for so long, so enjoy the time that you have. Maybe that decreases time on Earth. I don't know. We're not doctors.
Are you predicting something?
No.
I have to be worried.
I hope positive.
Positive.
Yeah, I'm not thinking anything.
But I'm scared. I don't want to go to sleep.
Well, don't eat the pot pies then.
Well, you're the one saying how much time I got left.
I don't know. I'm talking about all of us.
Oh.
Collective.
Metaphorically.
Oh, okay.
Like
you've seen the preview for Moonfall? It's not going to be long.
Are you threatening me?
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's other people that have other things that when they go to the grocery. If there is, put them in the comments. There's something like when you go to the store like once or twice a year and you go, I got to get that.
Yeah.
It's not good for you.
Yeah.
But you have to.
But what is?
But yeah, 99 cents. I think there's still 99 cents. I grabbed some.
I think I got one in my freezer right now.
Yeah.
You want to come over? I mean,
hold on, the cravings. But yeah, I think they're even still 99 cents. They were probably 99 cents when I was a kid. I don't think the cost has gone up at all. But you have to, they're so good.
It's amazing that inflation is the banquet pot pie is the one thing that inflation hasn't hit in this world, but positive.
And don't get fancy. See, that's another thing. Don't get fancy. This Marie Callender's, she's getting a little high on the hog there. She's getting a little Marie Callender's pot pies are not tasty. They're too fancy. You don't get fancy with trash food like that. No. The more cafeteria-like this banquet pot pie is, the better they are. Don't fancy it up with the flaky crust, the croissant. I don't need that. I just want a garbage 99-cent pot pie.
See, you start talking about cafeterias, and you start giving me flashbacks to high school, and it's not that we're trying to keep things positive, but it's just like cafeteria pizza puffs and
come on.
I know, but you know me. It does not good times.
No.
But yeah, I'll push back a little because I do enjoy the Marie Callender hot pies. No. What's wrong?
Too fancy.
It's
not only that, but I think, and do me a favor, if you have one, look at it. The brilliance, or not the brilliance. See, I think, and someone may have to answer me this. The Marie Callender's ones, they put like whatever the soup or sauce with the veggies and meat, like in the little aluminum tray thing, gravy, sure, whatever it is, I don't even care.
It's not gold.
It's not what?
Gold. I mean, it's not like that. It's not that fancy.
No. But the aluminum tray, they put that stuff in there, and then I think Marie Callender's just puts like the croissant cover on it, like the flaky crust on the top.
Yeah.
It's not like enclosing the gravy and the veggies and the meat. The crappy banquet ones, when you pop them out, they have like the bottom part of the shell and then the crappy top part of the shell. with the sauce and stuff in the middle. So there's more like crust to gravy vegetable ratio. The Marie Callender's one just has like the dome of dough on the top, and it's too fancy.
I don't think you've had it in a while. I mean,
I bet you any money. I think they'd only do the top.
I don't gamble,
especially on overly produced grocery store food.
Right? Yeah, I got no dog in that hunt. Yeah. Yeah,
they're good though. I can tell you, Nessie. Now, hopefully, the next time you go to, you got one in the freezer, but next time you go to the store, you're gonna go. I'm gonna give me some of them 99-cent banquet turkey pot pies.
Well, I think we got a couple because they were 99 cents. That's why I got them. Because the Marie Callender's were not on sale at the time. Again, going for cost effectiveness, but sometimes they do go on sale for like $2.50 a piece, and I do grab those.
Yes.
I don't eat them. Don't eat them that often.
No.
But they're in a pinch.
That's what they're there for.
That's right, to eat and be happy. Yes, that's all it is. All right,
go for it. What's the third?
More, right? Again, not to preface this by thinking sadly, okay, but we're
turning it around now. You're going to turn it around.
No, this is the whole point of this is that the last, like the end of 2021 up until like just a couple days ago, we've just been losing some icons left and right.
Ronnie Spector just died like an hour ago.
Ronnie Spector just died. Nelson's died today. Obviously we lost Betty White just before New Year's. Bob Saget just this week. Peter Bogdanovich. It's just been, it's been crazy, and it's gotten me thinking. Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
Obviously
huge.
Yeah, and again, Betty White was 99, Sidney Poitier 94. Great. Like the Saget one stings because 65, that's too young, and everyone loved him. So it just that one stings. I mean, the other ones had like long, full, great lives, and it just but I have so much to say about Betty White and Sidney Poitier and Bob Saget and whatnot, and I started thinking, instead of eulogizing some of these people after they're gone, we sort of we hold on to this stuff, and maybe we haven't thought about Peter Bogdanovich in a while, or when was the last time Betty White was on a tear there for a while, but we have you haven't seen a lot of tweets about Betty White lately until she passed. And I troll around YouTube, working on the podcast and stuff like that, and I started coming across some videos and whatnot, AFI tributes, American Film Institute tributes and whatnot, and thinking of someone that is still alive, has there's nothing to suggest that he's going to be gone soon, hopefully, but thinking how lucky me, and I know you feel the same way, how lucky we've been to been in sort of the golden era of this person's genius. And the person I'm talking about is John Williams.
Oh, so good.
And it's just going down the rabbit hole and seeing the tributes at the AFI from a couple years ago that I watched on television, and then hearing some of the music there and watching how it's integrated into the movies and whatnot, and obviously his collaboration with Spielberg. But even beyond that, I mean, he's the amount of work that this man has contributed to the greatness of film and cinema that we grew up with. We grew up really in the golden era of that period, the Star Wars, the Spielberg era, and whatnot. And again, he's been able to craft even so much more beyond that. And having just gone through award season, I've thought about this a lot over the years, and I'm sure that I've talked about it with Sergio Mims on my podcast about how there are a lot of really great composers these days. There are a lot of people doing some really terrific film scores, but nobody is ever going to give us the kind of output that John Williams has, ever. Nothing will sound like him, and maybe that's a conscious choice on a lot of these people because they recognize his greatness. And why would you try to just copy that? John Williams obviously has worked in all sorts of influences throughout his career, but he's made it again distinctly his own sound. And just, I mean, it's crazy when you start thinking of it. I remember watching the AFI show with my mom when it premiered. I think it was like 5 years ago. I think it was to like 2016 or something like that. And even she, knowing all these scores and these movies and whatnot, even then she had this new appreciation of it. It's like she didn't realize how important the music was in these movies and how they speak to not just the characters but directly to us, and not in a directly in a manipulative kind of way, but the way that his music communicates what people are thinking, the emotionality of any given scene and all these kind of things. Connect. I mean, I can't.
Real quick for those people who don't know who John Williams is.
Oh God.
Let's do a quick breakdown. The dude is basically he's a music conductor for movies and stuff and TV, but he's made some of the most iconic themes ever, and like not one, but like 10, 12, 15. The Superman theme from the 78 Superman.
78, yeah.
78 Superman. The Indiana Jones theme and score. Almost everything Star Wars movie related ever. All the themes, yeah, because didn't he not do like Solo or something? Like
he didn't do Solo or Rogue One.
Yeah, so like everything but those two, every single piece of orchestrated music you hear is John Williams.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. He even did. Sergio told me, and I learned that from him, was he contributed to the original television Lost in Space television show theme.
Yeah,
like when he was in college or something. The Lost in Space theme, which is super iconic. You can't not hear that and go, wow, this is awesome. Every Olympic time you hear one of those, you go, oh my God, that's John Williams.
Yeah. And just, you think about the way that, especially with the Star Wars movies, how every character had their own theme. Darth Vader has his own theme. Leia has her own theme. All these people, Rey has her own theme in Force Awakens and everything. And I can't think of any composers who are working today who work that way. They can conduct something, that so again, there are great composers, there are great scores out there. But I just, I don't, when I was going back with the awards thing, what I was bringing up is when I put forward, like I'm trying to break down who I'm going to be voting for that particular category for score. A lot of times I have to go and search for the scores again to listen to them again because they're not stuck in my head.
Nope.
Where John Williams, I mean JFK.
Oh,
that score
really
gets stuck in my head. Like he did the score for JFK. Amongst
wow.
again,
I don't know if I ever caught that.
Yeah. Which is an incredible score, an absolutely incredible score, and I want to appreciate that he's still out there doing his thing. He is composing. He's doing live shows all over the place. I think he's scaled back his film score work a little bit. Obviously, he didn't have to do anything for West Side Story. But he did do Rise of Skywalker, and Spielberg has another movie. I'm sure he'll maybe do another, at least one more.
Even if he just does the main theme of anything, and they leave the other music to someone else, you're getting something that everyone will always remember forever. Yeah. Every time that Superman thing kicks in, I played it at my wedding. It was my wedding entrance music. Was the Superman John Williams Superman theme.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, when all it takes is 2 or 3 notes, and you're like, boom, Star Wars Imperial March, boom,
you're there.
Darth Maul Duel of the Fates, boom. I mean, come on, I think that's one of his few #1 hits. Duel of the Fates for like 2 weeks, I think, was a #1 hit song.
Yeah,
an instrumental, orchestral movie theme. It's not even the main theme. It's a
Nope.
battle music, and I think it was like number 1 or something. At the very least, it was on the charts. I'll have to look it up later and find out.
It was definitely on the charts.
Yeah.
I mean, that was. I mean, again, that was Phantom Menace. So that was the return of Star Wars.
Sure.
So everything was.
But the song hit.
Right.
The song was awesome, and of course, it's the double lightsaber light up and the whole thing. But Duel of the Fates was huge. I mean, and you can't escape that when you hear all that Indiana Jones done. It's done. You're in it. I don't care what's going on after that. You just play that music, and you're in it.
Yeah, and so like my point of is just that
Jaws, not Jaws. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Jaws. Yes, that's right. I have that on my thing. Jaws,
Close Encounters.
Right.
With the exception of just a couple Spielberg. I think the only Spielberg movies he didn't do The Color Purple because Quincy Jones did that. He didn't do Bridge of Spies. Thomas Newman did that, which is Thomas Newman again a fantastic. Thomas Newman is as close to crafting music that is kind of recognizable, at least to me. He's got a very distinct style. If you've heard Thomas Newman's work, you would go like, "Oh yeah, I remember. I've heard this before. I remember this," or blah blah.
But if you ask someone, can you think of a movie theme?
Yeah.
There's the 5 or 6 we've mentioned right now.
Yes.
Someone is going to mention one of those 5 or 6.
Right.
Probably 95% are going to mention some sort of John Williams song.
Yeah, there obviously there are many old scores that you could think of, and you hear Magnificent Seven or Lawrence of Arabia, possibly. They're all kind of old scores that, again, but have had like 50 years to resonate with everyone. Harry Potter is a big phenomenon, but you hear that dun 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 dun, and that's like his big. I mean, he only did I think the first 2 movies fully, but they kept that theme.
Why would you not?
Of course,
you'd steal everything you possibly can from if you can.
Yeah, and he didn't do Ready Player One for Spielberg. Alan Silvestri.
Well, that's the other guy I was thinking of, but that's only from when we worked in the video store. It seemed like in the 90s, especially, every other movie, Silvestri's name was on for score, but it was mostly like action movies and stuff, right?
Well, he was Zemeckis' guy.
Oh, see,
so he does a lot of Zemeckis' stuff. He did Back to the Future and Castaway.
Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon's Michael Kamen.
Oh.
You're thinking of Michael, who also did Die Hard. This is a very sort of distinct. We can start doing a whole composer.
Sure, but again, Williams.
Yeah, and again, Sergio Mims, I keep mentioning our friend, who does a classical musical show on WHBK Radio at University of Chicago that we do the movie show every month for. And he proposed the idea probably well over a year ago, talking about having me just come in and just do a 3-hour block of specifically chosen John Williams bits.
That'd be so good.
Yeah, and I said like, yes, that has to happen. That will happen.
See, I want to play that. Like, I want to be able to pop up a picture here or play a sample of music, but I'll instantly get banned.
Right.
The DMCA stuff, they'll just rip the channel away and I'll be gone. But it would be so awesome to be able to play a snippet. So for you to be able to do that show and like do like a curated list and go, here's this from this, and be able to play, a 6-minute, the Superman theme and explain how important it is to you and stuff. That'd be awesome.
I mean, and I would play a lot of. I mean, like Sergio said, like you should play like a lot of B stuff, like a lot of not, maybe not the specific. If I just played Superman, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, everyone knows those.
Sure.
I'd probably pick like 2 or 3 or 4 of the greatest hits.
Well, just like any band, you got to play some of the hits to play the new music on your new album in order for people to like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had the pleasure of seeing John Williams twice in concert here at the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, and I've told Sergio this before many times that second show that he did, and during the encore, that everyone does an encore, but during that bit where he comes on and does like 2 or 3 more pieces of music, the first couple notes of Superman came up, and I stopped breathing for a second. I literally, because that
how
Superman
good is that?
I mean, as much as I can go on about Jaws and Star Wars and Indiana Jones and whatnot, Superman may be the most perfect theme ever crafted. It's just, I mean, it is instantaneous. It is, like you feel like you're flying when that piece of music comes on. It's heroic. It's like you just instantly, like, you almost become Superman listening to it.
It makes it makes you want to like run around or like you said, like fly. It makes you want to like get all excited.
Right.
It's literally one of the reasons it's so triumphant. I made it, or I asked, it's the one thing I said. I go, we can do whatever. I just can we walk into Superman theme?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, all right. She was like, that's cool. But yeah, like how cool is that song?
Yeah,
it's so triumphant, so energizing, and instantly recognizable. And and even I would hope that even people now that don't have the fondness of the '78 Superman like we do,
right?
When they hear that, hopefully it at the very least gives them the chills of it being a really good like orchestral or theme song.
Yeah.
But I hope they still remember it for being Superman.
Right.
Because what they do in a pretty consistent way is DC knows that's what people want, and so they keep bringing like the Danny Elfman Batman theme, and the Williams Superman theme back. And didn't they weave it into, I think, Justice League? They got the Superman, the Williams version into the new Superman movie. They know how iconic it is. They can't get away with it. They can't get away from it.
Right.
Yeah, it's too good. He's too good.
Right. And I just wanted to throw that out in the universe, to sit there and just be appreciative of someone who has given us so much joy for, decades and decades and decades, and is still here and can still be appreciated while they're still with us. And I think he's 86, 87 now. Again, he's still out there doing his thing. And just be appreciative.
And all it takes, I'm sure, whatever service you subscribe to, whether it be free or not or whatever, I'm sure they have a John Williams playlist. They'd have to, unless they don't have the rights to the music, like Apple owns it or something. But I would assume Warner Brothers owns those. Paramount or whatever owns the others. Yeah. Disney now owns those. So I'm assuming they license those things out so that people can listen to them. If not, just go on YouTube and type John Williams in. If you don't get a movie clip with someone, basically pirating the song and dumping it on a movie clip, you'll get an actual John Williams conducted performance of an orchestra from somewhere, because the guy, they ship him all over the world. Yeah. The English orchestra, the Chicago orchestra, this symphony, that symphony. He's done it in the Australia, the Grand... what's the name of that building? The Opera House. He's been everywhere. So there's tons of clips of him conducting the orchestra. And whether, you know all the music or not, it'll eventually hit on one you remember. And all of them are good. I don't know if you can pick a stinker in the bunch.
No, there was this, not so much a meme, but there was just a tweet that was going around a couple of weeks ago. And I think it was posted to Williams at one of his live shows doing conducting. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It was a clip that was available on YouTube. Okay. And the tweet basically all it said was, it was a made up conversation, obviously, but like Spielberg says, "Hey John, I need a theme for my dinosaur movie."
It's another one.
And then John Williams says, the tweet goes, or in parentheses, he goes, and John Williams gives him the most beautiful goddamn theme.
That's right.
For Imagine,
it's another
just like,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this same year, he does Jurassic Park and Schindler's List.
Jesus.
I mean, and then
when you think, so that's what 12. So odds are he probably does that in a 12 to 18 month period, unless they have 3 years of movie production, which seems weird to me. It would probably be about 6 months to a year and a half of pre-production and all that stuff.
Even less. It's probably even less than that, because Spielberg was literally filming Schindler's List in Poland, and at the same time he was editing Jurassic Park.
So who goes to him and he says, "Look, I need 2 movies worth of music."
Yeah.
And this guy turns around 2 colossal. What you probably figure usual movie orchestral soundtracks are anywhere from 12 to 20 tracks usually. Like the Star Wars ones tend to be a lot more because they have little individual themes
about
and stuff.
60 to 90 minutes of music, give or take.
Sure.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
He's pulling off 180, maybe more, minutes of some of the best, most memorable music you've ever heard. And whether you know it's John Williams, you know the theme. Yeah. All someone has to do is play this and go, oh.
And of course you can't, I mean, Spielberg, I don't know if it's not always true. It's mostly true, when, because you have to have some semblance of a cut ready for the composer to sort of figure out exactly how, and then you work with the director and how you want to score it and all that kind of stuff. So, again, Spielberg's doing Schindler's List over here. He's editing Jurassic Park. So Williams has got to work on that score. And then the anecdote that Williams tells about Spielberg is that when he saw like the rough cut of Schindler's List, and Williams said, like, it's so emotionally overwhelming, he had to go outside. And this is wild music, obviously, because he hasn't written the damn score yet. And so he had to go outside and collect himself and all this kind of stuff. And then he came back and to Spielberg and said, this you've created something unbelievable here with this movie. You need someone much greater than I to score this music. And Spielberg said to him, apparently without missing a beat, he said, "That's true, John, but they're all dead."
Like Beethoven.
Yeah.
It's the only other people that there could be to do something like this.
Exactly. And of course, and then he did it, and he won the Oscar that year for Schindler's List. And this is a guy that's been nominated, I'm pretty positive it's over 50 times.
I would assume there's some sort of record
for
nominations, right?
He has the record.
Yeah,
I think he's got the record for composer. I think I have to look.
Could there be an actor or director that would be nominated over 50 times for something?
I think Walt Disney.
Oh,
like the early days of Walt Disney, and he's attached to so much stuff. I think he is technically the most nominated person of all time.
Is he still part of it posthumously because of the name?
No, I don't. No.
All right.
But I'd have to check my Oscar facts on that. He's definitely the most nominated composer. There's no. I mean, the actors you're talking about, like Meryl Streep, I think has 14, and that's like the tops.
That's where I was thinking, like high teens.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, 50 times. He's nominated twice sometimes in the same damn category.
Same year.
Yeah, frequently. It's happened many times.
He's too good. I want to play Duel of the Fates right now.
I know.
I can't. It's irritating me that I can't just hit play unless let us listen to it, because we'll get banned. But so good.
Can I just sing it, or will we get banned? Can I just
No, I think technically, if you sing it well enough, the algorithm will catch it.
Really?
Even if you hum it.
Yeah.
If the algorithm catches the tune in the right or close enough key in the right beat, it'll still say that you're playing the music and it'll ban you.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
the funny part is that you post some clips and stuff on your podcast.
Yeah.
And I don't think Apple cares.
No.
But for some reason, any of these other Twitch, YouTube, some other stuff, I could probably push it, but eventually their electronic algorithm will kick in, and it'll, if I start humming more than about 3 seconds of something, that's it.
Well, I had learned, I used to, in many years ago, used to intern for a radio station. So I know a little bit about the ins and outs of Kevin Matthews, actually.
Oh, I thought you did stuff for Brandmeier too.
No, I was on Brandmeier's show.
Oh, that's okay. Yes.
I was on Brandmeier's show regularly a few years later, but I interned for Kevin Matthews, and I was there pulling clips and putting, music and stuff together, and there, so I learned a little bit of the ins and outs of what you can and can't do, as far as, paying the piper.
Oh yeah.
Is, when it comes to that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that I pay attention to when I do stuff. And my podcast is not monetized really in any way. So there's nothing to get.
And I think they get away with it too, because if you're on the radio, they kind of have not an all-encompassing license, but clearly they're able to play music on the radio because they already have that ability. And I'm assuming that would extend to like orchestral stuff. Everything's in a catalog. I think the movie stuff would probably cause you problems there on the radio if you play a clip from like a movie or something. If you play a 2-second like someone laughing or being silly, I don't think they would get in trouble. But
yeah, no, I mean, well, Brandmeier, obviously played clips all the time.
sure.
And when I was pulling clips for math, and again, this was a long time ago, so maybe something has changed, but I'm still playing by those rules, so whatever.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we will. It's like what? They would play movie games, so it would literally play like minute clips from movies and have people guess the movie, win the concert tickets or whatever it might be. So I was in charge putting that kind of stuff together, and there's never no one ever said like, okay, make sure you keep this under 20 seconds, make sure you do this and whatnot. And again, it's not you're not doing it, you're not as long as you're not monetizing it kind of thing.
But the radio station is. They play commercials and your stuff is on their thing.
That's
and that's the thing with the YouTube and stuff. Everything's just done by a computer now. No person like sits and watches 80 bajillion videos.
Right.
And okay, I think I hear the Jaws theme in there somewhere. It's just some computer algorithm, some AI pulling out this beat in the middle of a track, and they go, well, that's the Jaws theme, and then they just strike your whole channel.
But also think of how many. I mean, again, you're dealing specifically with your channel and all that kind of stuff. But you think about all the stuff that's available on YouTube.
Well, that's my point. There's a bajillion a day.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a pebble in an ocean.
Yeah.
So again, I understand the need to have it be simplified so they can do it, but it's so infuriating. I just want to play 3 seconds of a Superman theme, and I'm scared out of my mind to just hit a button and play 3 seconds because they'll just turn your whole channel off, and then you can never get it back, and you can't have another channel. That's it. You're just over. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
There's no one to talk to either.
Just play the first note, like name that.
Right. Guess it on one note.
I guess on one note.
I guess technically one note isn't a song. You probably could play one note.
It's technically not, but YouTube's probably got a thing on there that just like that. Hey, I know what song you're playing.
Maybe
you're playing "Jump" by Van Halen. Can you even say
another good song?
Exactly.
John Williams, look him up. Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you can see him. YouTube. But if you want to watch him actually conduct it, just to see his passion, I don't personally understand how or what a conductor does. You see what they do with the stick and stuff. I can't appreciate it because I don't have enough knowledge to know how to appreciate it. I'm dumb. I'm ignorant of it. But you can see his passion and the fact that he wrote it all on top of it. He's not just conducting an orchestra because it's someone else's music. He wrote all that stuff. You can't deny that guy's genius, and you can't deny how iconic all that music is.
Yeah.
So throw on a playlist. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, just put it on. I mean, you don't need to listen to stuff with lyrics. Just put it on. They're obviously great classical music and everything, but just put it on as background noise. That's what I used to do all the time. Is just put on his soundtracks when I was working. When I was writing and whatnot. It's inspiring, it's soothing, depending on what you're listening to, of course. And again, I want to be able to appreciate it while, we're going to appreciate it forever. But the fact that we can just keep appreciating it. That's all I want.
And enjoy it today. All it takes
exactly.
is click on the Spotify thing and boom, you got it on a playlist.
Right.
It's awesome. I have it mixed in with all my other music. So you'll hear like a AC/DC song. You'll hear MC Chris from Aqua Teen, and then you'll hear like Duel of the Fates. And then it'll go to something else. But they pop in there now and again, and it's always good. Like the Superman theme will just start belting, and I'm like, so good.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do it. It's funny. It's twice now you mentioned food, and then I mentioned food because we don't tell each other now. I like the way we do I do your movie thing, which is we don't talk about it ahead of time. Yeah. So that's the way I'm doing this one. We don't talk about the 3 subjects, and so turns out my third thing is music also, sort of. It's the Apple exclusive, unfortunately, but the Apple TV documentary, The Beatles Get Back.
That's Disney.
Or Disney, I'm sorry.
Disney
but it's exclusive to them.
Yes.
And so if you're not a Disney Plus person, you can't see it. But I would highly recommend doing your free trial. There's a million other awesome things on Disney Plus if you're not a Disney Plus person. All the Marvel movies, all the Star Wars movies, they all have tons of kids stuff on there. But anyway, and I'm not a salesman for them. But anyway, they had this great documentary by Peter Jackson called "The Beatles Get Back," and it's about what is essentially their breakup. It's not about the breakup. It's about their last session together to create an album. And while they all kind of knew, but they didn't know, that they were breaking up. They had tons of years of all the stuff you've heard about people maybe not getting along or not liking this person and that person. And that's what we've heard all these years. You're talking, I think it was 72? I think it was 72, 71 right. when they broke up. And, you hear, Yoko broke them up, and you hear, John and Paul were constantly screaming it, they hated each other. And you can tell that maybe they're not as enthusiastic about this as they had been throughout their careers. But it kind of disproves a lot of the rumors that we've heard for the last 50-something years, 40-something years, is they get them together. They're basically, they haven't done a live performance, I think, since Shea Stadium, the massive sellout. And they all made a decision that they were so popular. Again, people, all these, groups, New Kids on the Block, they sell out. They were selling out baseball stadiums and stuff like people are selling out Wembley. But they were doing it every single time they went somewhere. I mean, you've seen the videos of women, like, screaming and running after trains and stuff. Like, it was every single day.
And he's flying.
Yeah. And it gets to the point where they do that. I think it's Shea where they make the decision, like, we can't even hear ourselves. No one can hear this music. Everyone's screaming so loud. They love us so much. You can't even appreciate all the work we've put into the music. It's too much. And so they just don't do any live performances anymore. You can't go to a concert. You can't do anything. They do, like, some stuff on TV, I think. But basically, that's it. You can't see them live anymore for, I think it's like 5 years. Their manager dies, who had created all their albums up to this point. And they sort of like, hey, you got one more album, you got to do this album. And some genius thinks up, what we should do is we should put all 4 of you in a room together for like a month. And it's just this amazing, it's like 4 episodes. They're all 2 hours apiece. So yeah, it's a haul, and the first one's a little slow because it just kind of shows the process, like getting them together, putting them in a room. What are they doing? The second through the 4th, though, is watching. Talk about geniuses. Watching these 4 dudes just start creating some of the most iconic music you've ever heard in your life in a matter of, like, minutes. Like I told you, I think it's Let It Be.
Yeah.
Paul is sitting at the piano, George is kind of noodling around his guitar somewhere else. Ringo's in a movie they're producing, so he's like talking to some dude. He's off his drum set stand, and John's chatting with Yoko, doing his thing. Paul's just sitting at the piano and he's noodling around, hitting some keys, and all of a sudden he hits 2 or 3 in a row, and you go, "Whoa, hold on!"
Yeah.
You literally watch the second it popped into his head, and then he takes those 3. And he plays around a little bit more, and he's talking to people or having a smoke, and someone comes over and I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to do a live show here, live show there. And he's chatting. He's like, yeah. Yeah, doing his thing. And then it's like 12 notes in a row. And then it's the chorus. And then the way he does it, and I guess a lot of musicians do this, is they either hum or they say gibberish to get the, like, tonal part of the words, and then they write the words to fit the tone or whatever. At least that's the way Paul does it. There's a notorious one about pancakes. There's a song, I think it's like Pancakes. And it turns out it's another song, but that was the word he originally used. So he does this, and then he's I can't even hum it because I'll get dropped. But like, right. He then comes in the next day, and he's playing, I think, on the guitar, and he's playing it, and it's more formed, and you go, wow, that's Let It Be. It's not quite the same, but it's enough. And George is just sitting on the drum stand, the deck. Ringo, I think, is standing up or sitting down on that same thing, and they're just watching him put the finishing touches on the song And again, I don't know how much more time he spent in his hotel room or whatever, but within a matter of 7 minutes, you get Let It Be. And eventually George is kind of looking at him, and he turns over and he grabs his guitar and starts noodling a little bit. I should say bass, because Paul plays bass. George plays guitar. And so he starts noodling a little bit. Ringo kind of looks over. They're kind of doing their little thing. Ringo stands up, goes over to the drums. I think he starts playing a little bit. John's a little late. He hasn't got out of bed with Yoko, but I guess he's making his way there. So he's late. They kind of joke about the fact that John's kind of been late lately. So, he's distracted. Mm-hmm. But they're not mean about it. So again, goes against the stereotypes. But so he's sitting there, and John just walks in. You see him walk in the room, pulls off his jacket, just picks up his guitar, and just starts playing along with him. He's never heard any of it. And he just finds a way to accompany him in 2 seconds. It's not perfect. It's not the song you know it to be, but you hear it. And you watch this stuff happen over 3 episodes. It's like 8 songs. And I'm assuming this happens with any song we all know. You hear Billy Joel write an amazing song, or Phil Collins, or these people who make these intricate songs, and you go, wow, they're iconic, and you remember them, and Rolling Stones or someone else. You know this happens, but to watch the Beatles do it, and to literally see it happen in seconds. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Like being in the room with John Williams while he's doing that, and you hear the first couple chords of Duel of the Fates or Imperial March, and you're like, I'm here for history. Right. Like that, now. No one's ever going to be able to forget that. Like, you watch Let It Be, you watch it, and you go, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to make something that beautiful, but you're not mad at yourself. You're just so happy it exists. And to watch it be created is crazy. And so, like I said, there's like at least 4 or 5 other songs, and they're not all Paul's, although Paul is a workhorse. You realize that George is getting upset. He quits. He just walks out in the middle of it. He's like,
getting upset.
Yeah, he's getting upset. He literally just leaves. He gets up, like, where are you going? He's like, I think I'm done. And they're like, oh, for the day, you going to the hotel already? He goes, no, I think I'm done. And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And he just leaves. And you're like, whoa. And then, they have to, like, negotiate to get him back. And then there's this great conversation where Ringo's there, I think, early. Paul shows up with Linda, and Paul's sitting there with him. And you would think he'd be just piling the crap on Yoko. And this is all her fault. This is what we've heard, right? All this time. And he's sitting there, and he's like, look, man, he's in love. How do you stop that? Like, what? It just is what it is, man. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but like, so amicable. You're the Beatles. This guy's clearly John's kind of done, but he's there. He's participating. He's not being ornery. And Paul's just like, yeah, hey, man, it is like, hey, he loves her. Never a bad word. Never talks ill of her, at least that I know of. I mean, on the video they show, but it's 8 hours long. You'd think with all the scandal, there'd be some great video of him like, oh, I hate her so much or something. Like, never. Right. So that's kind of neat to see. You see George leave, and then, they finished all these songs. They moved the studio to an actual studio. They start making them. And there's this whole thing over this. They want to do this massive, like, we're going to do a live performance, but not like a concert. We're just going to go somewhere and do a live performance, and if people show up, great. Or maybe we'll plan it, and it'll be our last kind of hurrah for this thing. And they're talking about going to, like, I think it's the middle of, like, Serbia or something, to this temple, and they're going to do this big grand thing. They're talking about flying them out all these places and everything, and finally they're Apple Studios in England. They're in the basement, and they finally just go, let's just go on the roof. And everyone's like, what? And they're like, yeah, who's going to stop us? Let's just go on the roof. So they move all this equipment up on the roof, and it's that iconic scene we've all seen of all the people in the street just listening to all the new Beatles music they haven't heard in a couple years. I think it's a couple years. you're just hearing Beatle music from a roof. And so they stop, and all these people are like, what do you think? It's the Beatles' new music. And they're like, it's amazing. There's a couple grumps. There's traffic in the street. I can't get to work. Oh, yeah, there's a couple grumpy people. But other people are just like, wow, it's amazing. And then the iconic concert on the roof happens, which is their last live performance together. Or for an audience. I think they come back together to do one or two more things or finish a couple things on the album. But, like, it's their last big hurrah, which led to, like, U2, doing the thing on the tractor trailer where they drive through, I think it's New York, and they just kind of get on the tractor trailer and drive through there, and all the people are chasing them and stuff. And Rage Against the Machine did one at the Stock Exchange where they shut the street down. Yeah. It's kind of like that sort of guerrilla music promotion kind of thing. Yeah, right. As far as I know, it hadn't been done before the Beatles did that thing on the roof. Again, unless someone proves me wrong, it's trailblazing. They're just like, who cares? People just want to hear the music. Let's just go on the roof. If you're not a Beatles fan, this is probably not going to intrigue you at all. If you're a movie documentary fan, I think it will. Our buddy, Colin, really liked it, if I remember correctly.
Oh, he loved it.
Yeah. If you're a Beatles fan, you're going to love it. It shows you the process. It shows you them together kind of for the last time. It's a reworking of old footage that had already been put out, but there's so much more, and it's so in-depth, and it shows you them as people a little bit more, I think. They even have someone snuck a mic into, I think it was a plant in the lunchroom, and they let you listen to the conversation between Paul and John because George is gone, and they confront each other. So they're not mad, but they're like, even Paul's like, yeah, I think I may have mistreated him. And John's like, maybe sometimes you do come off that way. Mm-hmm. But they're talking like brothers, like people who love each other. They've known each other forever. It's so good. And if you're not a Beatles fan by the end of it, watching them do that concert on the roof, I don't know what kind of human you are. Like, I mean, you don't have to think they're the greatest band ever, but man, it's good. Man, is it good. I don't know when I'm going to watch it again, but of course I listen to the Beatles all the time amongst all my other music, but I immediately put on Beatles stuff for like a week, and I was listening to it at night and stuff, and it's so good. I know you're not a huge fan of the Beatles, but
well, it's not even so much that. I mean, I didn't, the music that I grew up listening to, we really didn't have like Beatles in the house, honestly, and I don't think it wasn't because anyone was averse to it. It's just the records I had. So, I mean, I listened to a lot of music from that era, but it was more sort of classical rock and roll. Obviously, Elvis stuff was in the house, and
who they idolized.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
And so it's just I didn't, my appreciation of the Beatles came much later. I didn't grow up, listening to that stuff in the house. So, and obviously the way that their music evolved over time is something that is the thing that I most responded to with them, because the stuff, they're doing sort of the poppy, stuff at the beginning, and then
basically imitating a rock band.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And sort of took on to a different thing, and like you're talking about, like this. I mean, I haven't seen the documentary yet. I've seen some clips, and people have talked about it, obviously, in my with me. So it's a little bit of a blind spot that I have right now that I want to have the time to, because originally this was going to go in the theaters.
Really? How?
Yeah, no. It wasn't going to be like a 6-hour thing.
Okay. Then this is much better then. I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was always supposed to come out in November, I believe, or it was delayed from like last year to this year, but like sometime like it was pretty late too. I think it might have even been like the summer, or maybe it was April or something, where they said that like, no, it's going to go to Disney Plus now, and I guess they just like, oh, I got all this stuff, and it just became what it became. But no, it's supposed to go in the theaters initially, and the thing that I love most about music documentaries is precisely what you're describing, which is watching a band put the music together.
Rattle and Hum's good like that.
To an extent, yeah. The one that I always reference, funny enough, is one about the Dixie Chicks called "Shut Up." It's called Dixie Chicks Shut Up and Sing.
Okay.
And it's the album they were creating right at the time that back that they basically
Yeah.
got canceled.
Positive. We gotta stay positive.
I know, right? But it was the whole
Shut up
period.
and sing. Do
Shut up and
what
sing.
your talent's for. Shut your mouth.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So the documentary, while charting all of that nonsense that went on around them, it was also interspersed a great deal with the album that they were creating as a response to all this stuff. So you watch them put together the lyrics and the music, and one of the song that ends up like one of the big songs, I guess, from that album that plays over the end credits is just really like fantastic. It is like really great, and I'm no Dixie Chicks country person by any means, but that documentary is fantastic. And it's just those are the types of music, because I mean, again, the sort of behind the music stories, is all fun, and
Sure.
all that kind of, it's great to see the gossip and all the the behind the scenes shenanigans and whatnot, but to see a band actually create something that I am not, like you mentioned about John Williams, you don't have the wherewithal to know every bit of thing that he's doing with his baton
when he's conducting. I don't get it because I'm ignorant. I don't know why the baton moves.
Right.
But watching him do it,
yeah,
and listening to the music and knowing he wrote it, wow, that's powerful.
Oh, it's completely powerful, and but to see again, like you said, a piece of music that and to watch the inception of it and watch it unfold and stuff like that. That's amazing stuff to capture if you can. So it's a lightning in a bottle type of moment. So I'm very much looking forward to finding the time to sit down and watch this.
It's really good. It's really good. Yeah. I don't know the next time I'll watch it. I'll probably watch like the last one again soon. Just I think it's the 4th episode.
Yeah.
Or 4th whatever part. Just because it's not just the emotion of it, but watching that concert on the roof is awesome.
Because that's what I guess that was mainly what the theatrical version was going to be about, was that rooftop
leading to it,
led up to it. So that was like the focus of it, and then I'll have to learn a little bit more about how it became this this 3-part thing. But and just the one I want to go back really quick. One thing I want to say about John Williams, also to bring up another movie I don't think we even mentioned, E.T.
Holy yes,
I know,
another one.
It's crazy. And when I think of one of my very earliest experiences in a theater seeing E.T. multiple times, and I remember the piece of music. I gotta watch myself now because I'm gonna start tearing up.
Yeah, I know.
Like I said, I saw John Williams in concert, and he plays. The first time I saw him, he played the piece of music from E.T. from the part I'm about to mention up until the very end credits. The boom, 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 all of that. He played that. No video accompanying anything, and I'm sitting there in the audience, waterworks. Just the music. Just the music, putting myself, knowing all the images because of the music. Okay. So, but the sequence where, it's the big escape, they escape from the house, E.T. is, been resurrected, and they escape in the truck, and there's the fun thing where they knock all the scientists back and get them off the truck, and then they end up in the park, and they meet up with the other the brothers' friends, okay, and then the park, and then all the adults end up showing up and finding the empty van. Mom shows up, Keys, Peter Coyote shows up, and they all find the missing van. And it's this moment they go like, where did they go? Where did they go? And they cut to all the bicycles going down the street. And the piece of music that I'm not going to do it because I don't want you to get banned.
Yeah. We'll be against it.
But when you hear that because it cuts to this, it's the music is swelling, and then it cuts to this piece of music with the bicycles, and it's as if John Williams go like, okay, they're on bicycles. Let me create a piece of music where it's like you're listening to the chains go like this, and you hear the piece of music, and it matches like this, the bicycles,
the thump, the spin of the of the pedals,
of the chains, and it just the transition of it, and it just kind of like, again, you go from like you're kind of on a high at that moment, and then you like they're on their bikes, they're going to the forest. We're going to the forest. and then the music just swells from there, and it's just, oh, please, absolutely, please.
We should also mention that Sergio, with his connections, has allowed us, with his graciousness, to have access to the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. We've seen Star Wars and Empire, where they show it on a screen in the background, and then the orchestra plays the score live on top of the movie. So they pull the music out of the movie, and the orchestra plays the entire movie live while the movie's being played. Two of the coolest experiences of my life, listening to that music live in the room with a really great orchestra while watching the movie in Chicago at the I don't know, I can't remember what the
Chicago
building's
Symphony
name is.
Orchestra.
It's called the building. Yeah. It's if they do it to other movies too. So if you can get tickets, for them when they do them, I suggest you go to hear any good music there. But we've been lucky enough through Sergio to be invited, and man, is that a pleasure. Again, what, hour and 45 minutes of continuous live orchestrated John Williams music, and we've got to experience it twice. And now you said you've been to his actual performances there.
Been to the actual performance, and you've gone to the 2 Star Wars ones, but I've seen E.T. I've seen them do E.T. there, so you can imagine how that was. I've seen them do Jaws there. I'm trying to think if what else I'm missing. I know. There are other things. I think they've done a Harry Potter movie there. They've done some Hitchcock stuff, like North by Northwest and things like that. Blanking if I saw I'm missing one that I might have seen. I think that might be all of them.
But yeah, it's awesome to see that stuff live. And if you have a place that has an orchestra, or you can travel to go somewhere that has an orchestra and see that stuff live, anything John Williams, you're gonna.
I think I saw Jurassic Park there. I think I saw Jurassic Park.
Again, makes sense.
Well. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I won't get to see the Beatles live. I believe my mother and aunt have. I could be wrong on that, but I think they went to one once. And then, we only got Ringo and Paul left. But Paul seems still to this day to be one of the most amicable, nicest, again, positivity, one of the most nicest people on the planet for someone who could theoretically get away with murder. He seems to be super cool about everything. And, one of these days, hopefully, when the world becomes normal or semi-normal again, if he ever goes back on tour or a small performance that I can actually afford, to go see him live before he's gone. Ringo now kind of shows up on occasion when he does these things. So you get 2 out of the 4, I guess. It's something. But Paul's still out there doing stuff. There's a great, maybe I'll throw a link in there. There's a great song he did, and in the video, Natalie Portman is in it.
Okay.
I want to say it's about 3-4 years old. He's still making music. He had a project with a DJ who remixed, and him and the DJ worked together. He made new music, and the DJ remixed it. I think it's called the Fireman, because I believe his dad was a fireman in England. So they called it the Fireman, some one-off project. It's like DJ music with Paul's stuff. He did a soundtrack song for a video game called Destiny 2. They somehow got Paul McCartney to do an original song just for their game. It's not great, but it's Paul McCartney doing your song for your game. When is that ever going to happen again? David Bowie was in a game once, but shy of that. You don't really get that Aerosmith had a video game, but shy of that, you have music royalty.
Yeah, let's not erase Journey Escape, by the way.
No, you're right. Yes,
There's
Journey.
no Journey erasure here, my friend.
That's right. Journey had a video game. You're right.
Right.
And ate some 4-bit Atari music for that, but hey, it's still Journey music.
Yeah.
I can't even hum it. People don't get.
Well, there was a was a stand-up game, right? Okay. I just wanted okay.
But again, the odds of finding that back in the day was extremely rare. But at our age, getting the Atari card to throw in the 2600, that was the only, more often than not, that's how you heard that or watched
Vegas, Circus, 1984.
Nice.
Journey Escape.
Nice.
I played that for
I'm sure you
Probably
can
too
emulate
much.
that on your computer right now some way. I won't tell you
Probably.
how, but
Probably.
I'm sure you could play that.
There is one. There's a video game, and we won't talk about it here, but you have to help me track it down
Okay.
at some point because I mean it was a stand-up game,
Okay.
and I don't even. I mean it was not like some great game or whatever, but they utilized footage from Star Trek 2 in it. It's weird.
Like full motion video?
Yeah.
Are you sure
Yeah.
it's not a pinball machine?
No, it wasn't a pinball machine. It was
They sometimes use FMV on there.
No, it was like you were in a spaceship and you were shooting stuff, and there would be footage from Star Trek 2.
Did it have a gun?
No.
Like, mounted like the Aerosmith game?
Not like Operation Thunderbolt or anything like that.
It had a joystick and buttons? Rollerball?
I believe no, I don't think it was a rollerball. I believe it had joystick and buttons.
I'll have to look
on it.
around.
Because I think I'm trying to remember exactly what the footage was. I am pretty certain it was Star Trek 2.
I really will have to look. I don't ever remember a Star. I would remember a game where you get Shatner going, God! I would remember that somewhere.
I only ever saw it in Vegas.
Mick,
It was like spaceship stuff.
My buddy Mick is in the thing. Mick, do you know what this? I can't think of it.
I only ever saw it in Vegas. That's the only place I ever saw this game, but I was obsessed with it because I thought it was so cool that they were utilizing like actual movie footage when you would blow up a spaceship or something.
I'll have to look it up. I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because there weren't too many full motion video games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had the Don Bluth Dragon Slayer, or I'm gonna say it the wrong way. It's not Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
You had those kind of that and Space Ace and
Ace.
stuff, but those were cartoons. Mm-hmm. The full motion video ones are usually the Lycon ones.
Right.
Mad Dog McCree and those kind of big stand-up ones and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, Mick doesn't know either. I'll have to look it up. I have no clue.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually it's a light gun situation with the full motion video. So to have like a stand-up with the joystick and buttons and still have FMV would be a little weird, but it's possible. I'll have to find it. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only about 70% sure it was Star Trek 2 that the stuff was from.
Well, it was definitely Shatner. Like Shatner.
Well, it wasn't. Oh, no. Well, it was just spaceships. It was just like.
So it didn't have the actors. It just had the spaceships.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like a Star Trek game.
Oh.
It was like like Space Hunter. It was.
But when you say that, so you said it had footage like the Excelsior with the nodules things on the bottom going through the cloud into.
Yes. Well, not even so much that, but like the idea was you were shooting at the spaceships, and then if you got one, it would show you shooting, a spaceship. It wasn't Star Wars footage. I'm fairly certain it wasn't
Star Trek. Yeah, the Excelsior, the Takei ship.
Right.
Takai.
Like the shot of like the con ship blowing up after he constructs it. Like I'm pretty sure that shot was in it.
I'll have to look.
Yeah,
you stumped me, and I know quite a bit. I have no clue.
I've been obsessed with figuring out what this game was for. Again, I was 9 years old when I played this game, so it was 84.
Okay, I'll look. Just so for my satisfaction, I'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't know when I'll ever get to see Paul. I probably won't, unfortunately, live. Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely watch Get Back. Definitely put anything John Williams, especially if it has the word. Now, look, all John Williams stuff is good, but especially if it has the word theme.
Yeah.
Odds are, it's one of 10 or 12 movies he's written an amazing theme for. And do yourself a favor, go back and get the original 60s, I think, Lost in Space theme. I don't think he actually wrote it. I think he did part of it or something. I'm sure that he's credited somewhere with what he did. But the original Lost in Space theme, just as iconic as these others, but you can tell it's older, stuff. But it's so good going back and listening to it. Yep. I even think the Netflix one has like a kind of a version of the John Williams version. Kind of, it's not quite the same, but it's similar enough.
This guy's written themes for the Olympics and for news organizations and. Yeah, he's literally done it all.
So good.
Yeah.
Before we get to what we're looking forward to, and then we'll wrap it up, I just wanted to show you two things. I went to I said I went grocery shopping. Well, in this case, I went to Target because I was closest to Target. Target isn't paying me. I want to be sure everybody knows it. So, so the deal is I can't help be a 9-year-old when I go to a store that has toys or electronics. I have to, if I'm going grocery shopping, I hit the electronics just to see what they got going on. I hit the Legos because I have to see what's going on. I have to go to the toy aisle. The biggie is they've started re-releasing the Masters of the Universe figures.
I saw that over the holidays. Yeah.
All of them, and they now have joints at the elbows and knees, and they have come with little extras. But yeah, they're awesome. They're re-releasing all of them, and they had some of those in the store. So I'll talk about Masters of the Universe one day because it's definitely gonna be one of the things that brings me joy. It's one of my favorite things. So, but what I did do is I went through the Hot Wheel aisle, and a lot of times they'll license stuff. So this is kind of my extra fourth one, but regardless, I went there and they'll do like they'll have like a Chevy van and they'll put like Captain America on it or something. It's like, yeah, it's neat, and it maybe has an artist I like an Alex. I have an Alex Ross set of and we'll talk about him at some point with like his drawings on some stuff. But every once in a while they will get the license to actually reproduce vehicles from movies. I've gotten you a few. I got you what did I get you? I think I got you like Knight Rider, the kit, the Pontiac Firebird with the light in the front. I got you a couple. Oh, the DeLorean, the Time Machine version, and just a regular DeLorean, but it says
that's right over. That's right back here.
There you go. Yeah, see. Yeah. So every once in a while, I'll get some for you. I got that. There was an A-Team van once. The Jetsons. I have a little Jetsons. When I save them, I throw them up on the wall. Once I get an area down here finished, I'll have all my junk up on the walls. But so today I went there, and I think my brother may still be in here. But the deal is I've been looking for these for about 8 months, and I finally found them. Either I saw a picture and they hadn't been out yet, or I just got lucky and they're old, and somehow they threw a couple up on the shelf, but they had 2. So one of these is going to my brother, but they made this. And I grabbed both of them, obviously. I've been looking for this. And so because I was talking about the Beatles, and I knew I was going to be talking about them, I happened to see this today. So it was serendipitous. I'm like, oh my God, I got to grab it. It's awesome. It's got little wheels on the bottom so it rolls. And it's obviously from their Yellow Submarine movie. But man, I love the art. These cards, what they do instead of just doing the normal Hot Wheel with just like the title, they do the full art a lot of the times now on these newer ones they make. So for $3 or $4 or whatever, I'm like, I got to grab these. But this is so, I'm sure I'm getting a horrible glare here.
A little bit.
There we go. But yeah, look at that. It's so awesome.
Funny.
Yeah. And so I got 2. So I'm going to send one of these to my brother. And then the other thing I was looking for, again, I either saw a picture and they hadn't come out yet, or I finally found them. Again, they had 2 sitting on the shelf, so I got very lucky. And we'll talk about this some other time, but when Marvel licensed Spider-Man to Japan, they wanted to make a TV show. And the gist of it is this is what ended up leading to, like, Power Rangers and all the Super Sentai shows over there, was this Spider-Man show they made. Well, they didn't make him a kid who was bit by a spider. I think it was like an alien that did it, and he conjures up a robot that he pilots. It's nothing like American Spider-Man, but it's now become this because of the multiverse. He is now technically a Spider-Man in the multiverse. So they've sort of started to they're starting to use this kitschiness, and now that Disney owns them, I think they technically pulled all the rights back from Japan or have access to them so they can license the stuff out. He has a car in the Japanese TV show that obviously I have a spider buggy Hot Wheel, which I'll show you some other time. I got like 2 years ago. In the cartoon, he had a spider buggy, and then in the comic book, they reproduced it. So it's this like a dune buggy, but it's red with the webs on it. In the Japanese TV show, they made him like a cool Condor Man Super Sentai Power Rangers car back in the 70s, and Hot Wheels somehow got the license for it, and they made one. Look at this. How awesome is that?
That's pretty cool.
It's ridiculous. It's got a little spider on the hood, but this is something we didn't get in America. And so you never see this stuff around, and somehow Mattel got the rights to reproduce a Japanese TV show car, I think, because Marvel can now, Disney can now do what they want. And so they know goofballs like me will buy this.
Yeah.
But it was like $3. And so, they got the original logo and everything on here. I couldn't have been happier. I'm like an idiot running around the toy aisle at Target. I found two of both. But yeah, so this will go up on my shelf with my other like superhero garbage upstairs. But yeah, how neat is that? It's so ridiculous, but it's awesome.
Now, is he a Spider-Man or a Spectre-Man?
Yeah, see, all those shows, I don't know if all of them came from this. Okay. But this, because see that little like bracelet on his hand?
Yeah.
He can like call a robot that he then gets in, I believe. And that is what is the sort of the precursor to what became the Super Sentai shows, which was then licensed in America and became Power Rangers. So the Power Rangers show you see is footage from the Power Rangers Super Sentai show in Japan.
Yeah.
All that stuff was, this was previous to that. But the conjuring the robot, jumping inside of it, piloting the robot, I think all sort of was due to this. So again, Spider-Man somehow makes other stuff better, and there's more legacy to that too. But yeah, I don't know why. I love this thing. So I got two of them. Someone else I know that might want one, so I grabbed them both. But yeah, just silliness. I thought they'd be fun.
Now, two things I think about when you bring up Yellow Submarine.
Yeah.
One of them is actually years ago at the Cinevegas Film Festival. One of the parties, I think, was sponsored or in some part by the Beatles Love Cirque du Soleil show. I think
I've seen that too.
They might have had something to do with it, but the party was at the Mandalay Bay pool. So there's like a beach side, there's a wave pool and whatnot, and so it's like there's a huge pool area, and it was at night, and they were playing. They had first Catherine McPhee did like 3 songs, okay, and then
pick up that name you just dropped.
This is literally I didn't meet her or anything, but that was like right at like the height of her post American Idol popularity, I guess. So she came out, did like 2 songs. She was on the cover of the magazine, I think, that was sponsoring the event or whatever. But they had a screen, like an inflatable screen erected in one of the pools, and they played Yellow Submarine. So we were sitting there literally like
waiting in a pool
area. We weren't in the pool.
Were people in the pool though?
No, not that.
That would be awesome.
No, there was a thing that they were doing, and I think it was the Cosmopolitan, one of the newer hotels there, where they were having like a pool cinema evenings. That'd where people could go in the pool and they were showing all these classic movies and stuff like that. But we were like sitting at night at Vegas at like on the edge of the pool, so we weren't in the pool. We were like on the beach area right there by the pool. Sitting there, beautiful June Vegas night, watching Yellow Submarine, which I mean, that's a goofy ass movie. So sure. I mean, but it didn't matter. Like there's just the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. It was just we sat there and watched this goofy ass movie, and and drinking and whatnot. So I think of that, and the other thing I think about is Bill Hicks. Who remember the jokes he was doing about the Beatles?
About Ringo, I got to scrape Ringo off the ceiling. He's so high.
Like, yeah, we all live in a Yellow Submarine. Do you know how high they were when they wrote that song?
Yes.
Ringo's got a song about a yellow tambourine or something.
Come and get the broom. We got to knock him down. Oh, the thing. He's on the ceiling. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what is it? No good music came from anybody that wasn't high. It was Bill Hicks. Yeah. He's like, of course they're all high. That's why it's good.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's such a great skit.
Yeah.
Oh, R.I.P. Bill Hicks.
I know. I'm looking for. Next.
What are you looking forward to?
January 20th. Close.
January
20th. No, this year. It's coming up. Sundance Film Festival starts, and so it's my 20th year, believe it or not, covering the Sundance Film Festival, and the second year virtual. Now, obviously, nothing's going to be in person there, and I was going to be virtual anyway, but. Just for a week, I get to sit here and go through countless movies, trying to find the next great stuff that people will be talking about this year. And that's just, I mean, it's nice to not have to do it in the snow. I love going there, but it's cold.
They just recently canceled the in-person stuff, right? It was like last minute, kind of screwed people.
Yes, just
positive, but yeah, they kind of screwed people over.
What? Well, if you had stuff booked there and you can't get refunds on it, that might be a problem. I don't know all the specific stories about that.
Sure.
Thankfully, we didn't have anything booked.
Good
for that. So we weren't going there. It was always going to be a hybrid. It's not like they took everything and then moved it to virtual. It was both things were happening, but they were going to have events and celebrities and guests and all that kind of stuff on the ground there. But everything is blown up, so they've had to just kibosh everything, and everything is still going to be online. Only one film pulled out of it. I don't want to go negative on that film. But yeah, no. So that's the thing. That's the thing. The next big thing that I'm looking forward to, in just not even that long, just another week. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's way in the future, but I'm a huge Alex Ross fan. For those who don't know who Alex Ross is, I'll just do it really quick because I'm going to talk about him in the future. I'm going to show you these cool covers. I'll probably do it next time. But he's a painter who lives here near Chicago, who just so happens, his mother was a painter in, I think, the fashion industry in the 50s or something, but he's local. He's very famous. He once did an Oscar poster, by the way. I think I mentioned it's the one where the Oscar statue is like on the outside of the building, kind of leaning forward. It's painted. He does comic book art, mostly covers nowadays, but every once in a while he'll do some interior work, but it's painted. Not just drawn and colored in a computer or by hand or watercolored. He paints. And it's, if you like really kind of semi-photorealistic painted art, but you like superheroes, this is your dude. There are other people that do it, either digitally or painted, like Sienkiewicz or Delato. There's a bunch of other artists. But Alex Ross is one of my favorites. It's just so clean and photorealistic. And he did the series of murals and covers for Marvel recently. But what they just found out, I think it was yesterday, might be it was yesterday, was that they're pre-selling, pre-order available for a wall calendar. And you go, who cares? It's a calendar. If you saw the mural, and again, I don't have access to be able to show you a picture of it, but this mural he did is of like 30 of the Marvel characters, everybody you would know in the they then made prints of it, and I don't know if Marvel commissioned it, but they put it on one of their huge walls in their office. It's like an entire hallway. So it's like 30, average height, like the Thing would be bigger than you and the Hulk would be bigger, but like Cap might only be a couple inches bigger than you, and then, this kind of thing. So they're all height appropriate, and they're all mixed together, men, women, monsters, the whole thing. They're producing a 6-foot by 2-foot giant mural calendar where the calendar is usable in 2023, but then you can pop it off without ruining the poster. And in essence, you get this giant 6-foot mural poster, because a film poster is 2 by 3. So imagine taking a film poster that's vertical, flipping it horizontal, and doing 2 wide.
Okay.
That's how long this thing is. So it's basically the width of my arms. It's massive, and it's this giant calendar. So it's way in the future, but it's just fresh on my mind. So I'll just say I'm looking forward to it. I will probably want to have it for another 11 months. But I do everything I can see that has Alex Ross on it, I snag. I don't care what it is. And I'm really jazzed about it. It's super cheap. It's like $23. It's no cheaper than, someone, you buy a Bob's Burgers calendar and you throw it up on your wall. But this is Alex Ross and Marvel and stuff, and if I could show a picture right now, I would. It's fantastic, so I'm just looking forward to that. It's fun.
Cool. Very cool.
But yeah, I just want to say thanks again for spending, it looks like 2 hours. It looks like even on your podcast, we always spend 2 hours, so that's good.
About that, yeah.
Thanks again. I can't thank you enough.
Sure thing.
Maybe I'll get someone on next time. We'll try to go a little bit less, so that way we can get 3 people's worth of stuff in if you still have the time. I'm going to try to do it every other Wednesday for now for at least a couple months.
Okay.
It's Wednesday's comic book day, so it's kind of appropriate. And we'll go from there.
Good deal. Awesome.
Thanks again. Really appreciate this. Have a good night. I'll talk to you later.
All right.